Good afternoon, everybody. I'm over here in New Jersey in my home. I wanted to reach out to you guys for the holiday season and go over a topic that a lot of people have questions about that I've been getting on my Facebook, also on my Twitter accounts for NUC football and the National Underclassmen combines. One of the biggest questions we get is why should we go to a football combine? Well, number one of the things that we do at the National Underclassmen Combine that is different than everybody else is that we're one of the most trusted sources for testing results, from the 40-yard dash to the shuttle to the vertical jump to the broad jump, that the colleges rely on, as well as recruiting services such as Rivals.com and ESPNU. So valuable recruiting services utilize verifiable information. The National Underclassmen Combine is one of those very important resources. One of the other things it does is also helps you evaluate your athletic ability versus other athletes. Now, a 40-yard dash and a vertical jump and a shuttle run doesn't necessarily dictate what type of football player you are, but it does dictate the athleticism that you have and ultimately the potential that you may have, as well as the size measurements, height, weight, reach, and understanding those things. Speaking of reach, that's one of the most often misinterpreted tests from an athlete and family standpoint, but one of the most important natural things that a human being has for the colleges. And what do I mean by that? Especially in the days now with football, where having long arms and the ability to separate yourself from a defender, or the ability to get your hands on a defender more quickly, it's important to have longer arms, and longer arms actually help you play better. So when you do the reach at a combine, I see many athletes short arm it, but then their reach ends up being lower. Yeah, they might have a higher vertical jump, but in the end game, the reach is very important, especially for offensive linemen and defensive linemen. That reach is very valuable. So how high you actually reach up in the air and how long your arms are is actually an advantage. The other thing is, from a testing results standpoint, understanding what the manual testing process and what we're looking for. Number one of the things that we look for when we run a 40-yard dash is that your torso has to go through the line. So sometimes we'll get questions as to what we look for. The torso, which means from your shoulders all the way through to your middle frame of your body, which is your waist and your butt, that has to get through the line before the watch is stopped, both on the 40-yard dash and the shuttle. So the testing results are very important to understand your athleticism. A second question we have, what about the football skills portion? How important is that? Well, we do individual drills. We evaluate the athletes on a complicated scale, measuring out every movement they have, especially the top athletes, and also understanding them when they get to the one-on-ones and individual period, and understanding quarterbacks, how they make a decision between two receivers, when to throw it to them, and how accurate they are, and how much velocity they put on the ball, and how their footwork is in their drop. Wide receivers, how they change direction, getting in and out of their routes. Defensive backs, their footwork, their back pedal, their acceleration. Linebackers, how fast they can get to the ball carrier, how physical they are, how well they move in space. Running backs, how well they move in space, how well they change the direction, what kind of acceleration they have. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Offensive linemen, their technique, their footwork, their quickness in short spaces and tight spaces, their ability to get their hands on and be physical. And defensive linemen, their speed, their get off, and their ability to move quickly while making moves against the offensive player and getting to the ball. So those are some of the things that we evaluate, and we evaluate them on different scales in order to understand, at least without pads, how good of a football player you are from an athleticism standpoint, and how good of a football player you are from an awareness and skills standpoint. And that's where the one-on-ones and evaluations come into play. They're very important for evaluating the overall athletic potential that a football player has. And ultimately, when you go to different levels at 1A, 1AA, Division II and Division III, the athletic tests that they produce and their ability and on-the-field ability from a football standpoint at the events is very valuable. Most importantly, the results go to every college in the United States. We email them out on a regular basis. We reach out from a contact standpoint to let the colleges know, especially the ones we have really good relationships with, about the top athletes. And we make sure we do that periodically. So basically monthly, we send those results out, both email-wise, and also we will get certain mailers out to different colleges. Now, the other thing that we do is we have a hand-in-hand process with the recruiting services such as Rivals.com and now with ESPN and other services to make sure they get the information. Finally, and this is coming new, our National Underclassmen.com site has always been a resource, but now we're going to enhance it with profiles for all the athletes coming in mid-January, as well as the ability to have subscriber-based stuff so we can get in-depth on those actual recruits. So that information is going to be unbelievable. And then NUCfootball.com, where you have the ability to promote yourself, upload your own video, all free once you sign up for the Combine event. So you can find everything at nationalunderclassmen.com. I hope that gives you a little clarity into the football combines and some of the value of it.